One of the strategies to reduce maternal and child mortality and other related deaths in Nigeria is for the federal government to partner with states to extend the coverage of the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is the view of the Kaduna State Governor Naira El-Rufai, who says that poverty should not be an obstacle to adequate health care for any citizen. He was speaking in Kaduna during the Northwest Zonal launch of the Save 1 Million Lives program.
Maternal mortality in Nigeria remains worrisome, with the country accounting for 14% of the global figures. This is in spite of the fact that the prevalence rate is down from over 1,350 in 1990 to 840 in 2015 per 100,000 live births. Health experts say this situation is unacceptable, and the authorities have to look for more ways to make progress. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, is part of the consultative meeting in Kaduna, where he explains that the federal government is determined to tackle the problem.
With a maternal mortality of 576 per 100,000, which actually are figures you find in war-torn countries like Somalia, Afghanistan, and Sierra Leone. Infant mortality is extremely high, 69 per 1,000 live births, and child mortality of 128 per 1,000 live births. The SOML program of maternal and child death that can change health outcomes in this country, and this will then bring us back in keeping with global standards.
The host governor, Naira El-Rufai, believes one of the ways to deal with the situation is to ensure extensive health insurance cover.
Yes, we find a way to ensure all our people, to ensure that every person that is ill will not fail to go to a health facility because of poverty. We are not where we should be. I therefore call on the federal government to support the states to mainstream the National Health Insurance Scheme such that every Nigerian, no matter how poor, no matter how vulnerable, will have access to health care.
According to 2014 reports by the WHO, every day, about 800 women die globally from causes that could have been prevented during pregnancy. Higher risks of complications and death as a result of pregnancy are faced by adolescents when compared to older women. It's feared that girls under 15 years of age face a probability of eventual death from maternal causes, with 1 in 160 girls dying in developing countries.
Let's quickly shift gears on the news at 10 now, shall we, to business news with Emana Amawe.
Very many thanks, Gimba. Welcome to Business News. The National Pensions Commission has been advised to invest some of its assets into the power sector. This is according to advisory partner and chief economist of PricewaterhouseCoopers, Dr. Andrew Nevin, during an interview on Channel's Business Morning Show. Dr. Nevin says investment in the country's power sector will help address the problem of infrastructural deficit.
This area is obviously power. So we at PwC have said, and many others for the last 3 or 4 years, the single biggest thing holding back the economy is power. The power privatization to date has not worked. Everyone realizes there needs to be more capital. The pension funds have the capital. Now the question is, how do we inject that capital in a way that keeps the pension holders safe? Because we're not here to take their money and lose it the way that the money was lost the first round of the privatization. So I think PENCOM's they recognize this, they're being cautious, the federal government's being cautious, but there is discussion about how to tap into this 5.7 trillion Naira to help restructure the power industry. If that could be done successfully, then we'll be on a much better trajectory.
The Naira gained a whopping 5.2% against the US dollar at the interbank spot FX market on Friday, as the central bank sells dollars to new floating currencies market. The local unit ended at 308 on the greenback, with intraday pricing of between 309 and 320 just before markets close at 2 p.m. local time. A forex dealer at Access Bank, Ms. Ife Eko-Olotu, tells Channels Television that about $10 million was sold on Friday. Ms. Olotu says the Naira was also seen rebounding on the US dollar at the parallel market, signaling an improvement in FX rates. Now, for some company news, Access Bank has reported a total of 50.02 billion naira in pre-tax profit for its second quarter result as of June the 30th this year, in contrast with 39.11 billion naira recorded last year. The group's net income also came in stronger at 68.45 billion naira against 48.16 billion naira within the same period under review. The lender's profit for the period stood at 39.4 billion naira compared to 31.2 billion naira in 2015, while its earnings per share also increased to 161 kobo from 136 kobo. And it's a mixed closing for the Nigerian equities markets this week as the all-share index recovered in 3 sessions on the back of cautious optimism on the part of investors. Let's join Millicent Walker for details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian equities markets ended Friday's session in positive territory as the key broad index climbed by close to 1% to finish at 27,650.32. Market capitalization increased to 9.49 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 314.60 million shares valued at 2.76 billion naira in over 3,000 deals. 7-Up Bottling Company led 22 other gainers, which also include Unilever and Access Bank. On the flip side, Nigeria Police Microfinance Bank led the day's top losers with 5%. Bank stocks dominated the volume chart as seen in the shares of FBN Holdings, GT Bank and Access Bank. And that ends the Stock Market Report. I am Millicent Walker.
Thank you, Millicent. Well, at the global market, it was a majorly negative close for most stocks as investors focus attention on the U.S. Federal Reserve's comment of an imminent hike in interest rates. That's our package on business news tonight. Very many thanks for the company. I'm Imana Amawe. It's back to Gimba.
The federal government says it is set to boost the real estate sector as it begins mass housing projects across the country. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, said this today at an event in Lagos State. The minister added that the federal government will ensure the new homes are made affordable and available to all Nigerians.